Welcome to the Stepmom Side with Alicia, the podcast for stepmoms ready to create the life they want and one they actually have a say in. Here we talk all things stepmom life and just a little bit more. Leave the superficial conversations at the door and get ready for perspective shifts and actionable advice to help you on your way to creating the life you want, one step at a time. Hey, welcome back to the Stepmom Side podcast. This podcast episode is for you if you've got an adult stepkid. You know how everyone says it gets easier when they're older? Yeah, about that. When adult stepkids don't accept you, it's not just uncomfortable, it's painful because you think, we're all adults now, we should be past the drama. But here you are, still being treated like the outsider, like you just crashed the family reunion uninvited, even if you've been here for just a few years or for a really long time. But let's be real, this one hits differently. It's the rejection with a side of disrespect and a sprinkle of, are you kidding me? You're 30. Like, at what point do you grow up? So today we're going to talk about why adult stepkids don't accept you, what's really going on underneath it, and how you can stop letting their behavior dictate your peace. And I think that part is the biggest piece of this whole entire thing. How you can stop letting their behavior dictate your peace. So first things first, why does this hurt so much? Let's talk about why this hurts so damn much. When you've been around for years, supported by your partner, shown up at birthdays, done all of the holidays, made all the magic, you've done the emergencies, you think or you feel like you've earned your spot, right? You've put in the work. You've done everything right. Okay, maybe you've made a few mistakes along the way, but hello, you're human. So when you still feel like you're on the outside looking in, it's confusing as hell. It's not just annoying, it's personal. At this point, it definitely feels like it's personal. It feels like they're rejecting you as a human being. Like, what did I ever do to you besides love your parent and pick up the slack? And so here's the thing. It's not actually about you. It's about what you represent. And I know if you've been here for a while, you've heard me say this, it's not about you, it's what you represent. So to them, your stepkid or your stepkids, you might symbolize the final nail in the coffin of their original family, or that reminder that their parent has moved on. And sometimes that's a lot for some people to process, even when they're full-grown adults with their own mortgages. So yeah, it hurts. It's not a reflection of you or your worth. It's their unfinished emotional homework. So let's talk about what's really going on. Adult stepkids can get stuck in a childhood narrative of, you broke up my family, even if you came along years later, even if you weren't the cause for the divorce, even if you had nothing to do with it, they get caught in that story that they've told or the story that they've been force-fed. They may be polite. They may text you on your birthday, but emotionally, they're frozen in that loyalty bind. And let's be honest, milk that victim role for all it's worth. It's a little awkward or uncomfortable to say out loud because I'm oh, what kind of backlash am I going to get for this? But yeah, and some stepkids milk that victim role for all it's worth. And you might be thinking, Alicia, they're 27 or they're 30 and they're a therapist. I actually have a stepmom that I've talked to that's my stepkid is a therapist and still does this kind of stuff. And I'm I see you. Anyway, you might be thinking, they're 24, they're 25, they're 35, whatever it is. Shouldn't they be over it? Sure, in theory, but emotional maturity isn't automatic with age. Let me just tell you that. Emotional maturity isn't automatic with age. Some people stay in the same story forever, especially if their other parent keeps that wound open. Remember, we've talked about loyalty binds before. I don't know if you've seen, I talked about this recently inside the Stepmom Side podcast. Inside the Stepmom Side community. I don't know if you've seen The Unknown Caller on Netflix about a mom that catfishes her daughter that's in high school. At the end of that, the things that her daughter says about the mom, still needing to see her, the mom put her daughter through hell for almost 2 years or a little more than 2 years. And the daughter is still I need to talk to my mom. We need to have a relationship, all of the things. You want to see loyalty binds? Go watch Unknown Caller on Netflix. You will see it and you will understand why your stepkids are caught in this loyalty bind. It's the wildest thing. So if this other parent is keeping that wound open, you're stuck in this position, this really weird position of where you're being punished for existing, just for simply being with or being married to their dad or mom, depending on like your situation. And honestly, here's my reminder to you, honey. That's not your burden to carry. I don't know why I just called you honey either, but I'm not going to cut that out. So let's now talk about the trap that you might be falling into, because I see stepmoms fall into this all the time. Hell, I did it to myself. I did it myself. You start overcompensating. You bake the cookies. You remember their birthdays and you make sure that they're special. You make sure that they're important. You offer to help. You invite them to dinner. You text to check in, and it's met with crickets. Literally no response. So you try harder. You tell yourself, if I just keep showing I care, maybe they'll come around. Maybe if I just ask it in a different way. Maybe they're just busy, because maybe they've used that excuse like, oh, I just forget, or oh, I'm busy. But all that's doing is draining you emotionally, physically, mentally. It's taking up all your bandwidth. You cannot earn acceptance through effort. You can't fix what somebody else refuses to see. And then there's the other trap, pretending it doesn't hurt. Does that one hurt? Like, are you like, oh my gosh, you just said that out loud? Because that's the other trap that I see stepmoms fall into. Like, it doesn't hurt. Like, I'm fine. I'm okay with it. You're acting like you're fine when really you're crumbling inside because it feels like a never-ending rejection. You don't have to fake it. You're allowed to say, this hurts. This sucks. I'm having a really hard time with this. You're just not allowed to stay stuck there. So, hi, welcome back to reality. If you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she just called me out on like pretending that this doesn't hurt, because it totally does. We've actually talked about this inside the Stepmom Side community. If you want to come join us, it's right before the holidays, so you might want to come join us. AliciaCrasco.com/community. So now let's talk about what you can control, because spoiler alert, it's not them. You get to control your boundaries. You get to decide how much you engage, how often you reach out, and how much space you allow. You also get to control your energy. You do not have to keep chasing someone who clearly doesn't want connection. So if you are not constantly, but consistently texting your adult stepkids and they're not reaching out, it's okay for you to lessen that. It's okay for you to step back and disengage a little bit more. It's okay for you to not constantly being the one that's reaching out, because like I mentioned, it's exhausting. It's emotionally draining. It's mentally draining. It's physically draining. You get caught up in, whatever story you've got going on in your head. A lot of times it has nothing to do with you. Just remember, you and I could switch positions and the exact same thing would be happening to me. The exact same thing would be happening to me. If you and I switch positions, it has nothing to do with you as a person. It's what you represent. You get to control your story. You can choose to believe their acceptance doesn't define my peace. You control how you show up in your relationship, in your marriage. Because this dynamic affects your partner too. But you don't have to let their kids' issue come between or become your marriage issues. I see this quite a bit. Like it's typically when the stepmom is pretending that she's fine and it doesn't hurt that her stepkids aren't responding or aren't saying anything back. And so there's always like snide remarks that are being made to her partner. Like, oh, I texted insert stepkid today and they never got back to me, or whatever. However it comes out, not whatever, but like however it comes out. And now it's a problem in your marriage, because now your partner is defensive because how dare you say that their kid isn't doing insert whatever. And you're like, and you're, pissy about it because you're like, hey, I'm putting in the time. I'm doing all of the work and I'm getting nothing about it. And you're pissed because you're doing all the right things and you're not getting any of the results that you want, or you're not, getting the response back. And so now you've just invited whatever dynamic you have with a kid into your marriage, and now it's become your marriage issue, or it's become a problem in your marriage, and it's starting to drive a wedge between you and your partner. So let's talk about like the mindset shift here that you can have. Their acceptance or lack of it is a reflection of their emotional capacity. Their acceptance of you, or the lack of acceptance of you, is a reflection of your stepkid's emotional capacity, not your value. And I just want to like clarify something right here real quick before I move on. You can have a really great relationship with one of your stepkids and a not so great relationship with your other one. They're very different people. They might accept you differently, like you came into their lives at different times. They see you differently. Maybe you just gel like amazingly with one of them and not the other one. It's all about the both of you, but also more importantly, like if they reach out to you or respond to you or even like take the time to engage you, it's their emotional capacity as well. It has nothing to do with your value, because you're amazing. You're wonderful. You're here listening to the Stepmom Side podcast and like trying to get better and trying to do all of the right things. And your stepkid is still like, whatever. I could take her or leave her. It's not about you, right? Like you could be the most perfect peach, juicy, ripe, all of the things, and like just absolutely perfect. Somebody still doesn't like peaches. Same thing with being a stepmom. You and I could switch places. It's got nothing to do with you. It could just be what you represent, but also it says a lot about your stepkid and where they are. You're not asking too much by wanting respect. I think sometimes we get in our head about like, oh, maybe it's too much, or your partner is like, oh, you're expecting too much for them to just to say hi. That's a common courtesy, right? You're not a bad person for setting boundaries. That doesn't make you evil. We set boundaries because we realize that maybe we're being taken advantage of, or maybe we're doing things that we don't like and it doesn't feel good for us. That doesn't make you a bad person. And you're definitely not the villain in this story. I wish I could just like snap my fingers and change the narrative of stepmoms are evil. They don't care about their stepkids. They're out to get their partner and away from their kid. Here's the crazy thing. A little side note here. My daughter's been obsessed with watching like the Home Alone movies, and we were watching Home Alone 4. And it's the one that the accomplices are a male and a female. And the dad, it's no longer Macaulay Culkin as Kevin, but the dad has started dating someone. It's a stepmom, and she's like trying to buy his love, and Kevin's like, oh, Dad, you know what? I think she's trying to buy my love, and I'm not mad about it. But then like something happens, like Kevin realizes that there's these intruders and no one believes him, right? And so the stepmom goes to his room one night, like after he's like getting into bed, and is basically like, keep your mouth shut. I don't want to have any problems with you, because no one believes him. And it's like, you know what? She had the opportunity to, or in the movie, she had the opportunity to like handle that a different way, but she just basically went into his room and was like, keep your mouth shut. I don't want any more problems out of you. And that was that. She was obviously very much in the movie like for the dad and not the kids. But this is real life. This is your story. You're not the villain in this story. So let's start moving from approval seeking to self-trusting. Like that people pleasing thing that you do? Yeah, that's like what we're going to get away from, the approval seeking. We're going to start to go towards like self-trusting. Ask yourself, what's this bringing up for me? Instead of, why don't they like me? So we're going to ask yourself, what's this bringing up for me? Instead of, why don't they like me? Because the moment you realize you don't need their approval to be at peace, that, my friend, is when you reclaim your power. That is when you are no longer walking on eggshells about like, oh, I don't know what to do when they're here. I don't know how to take up space in my own house, even though I don't live here anymore. And now, oh, what do I do? No. What is this bringing up for me? Once you can pinpoint that, that's where the magic happens. That's where you get to reclaim your power. And I'll tell you this from personal experience. I used to twist myself into knots trying to be understood until one day I realized I don't need to be understood to be respected. I don't need the other person or other people to get my point of view for them just to respect me. That changed everything for me. And I get it. You still want to have a relationship with them. That's completely human. That's completely, not completely human. That's human. That's completely normal. It also, it makes your relationship with your partner easier. Ask me how I know. It just makes things easier. And maybe someday that happens, but don't lose yourself waiting for it. Don't run yourself ragged, trying to chase that stepkid or trying to chase your stepkids. Be open to connection, absolutely, but without begging for it. We're not going to constantly is the word I want to use, but we're not going to consistently be texting them only for them to not ever respond. It's okay for you to let up. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to model what emotional maturity looks like. We're going to model what emotional maturity looks like. We're going to show consistency, but not over effort the whole entire thing, right? So if you're not really close to your stepkid and they show up at a holiday dinner or a family gathering and you guys don't ever really talk outside of that, if you jump in and you're like, hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh, I've missed you. They're going to be like, what is wrong with you? We don't normally talk anyway. So what is happening? Who are you? And what have you done with my stepmom, if they even call you that, right? You might be dad's girlfriend or dad's wife or stepmom, or maybe they just use your name, whatever it is. But we're going to model what emotional maturity looks like. We're going to model what respect looks like, even if you're not getting it. We're going to show up and treat others the way that we would like to be treated, or maybe we even do the platinum rule and we treat them how we think that they want to be treated. And sadly, sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back. Let them sit with their discomfort while you go live your damn life. Let them sit with their discomfort while you go live your damn life. It's not your job to try to fit into the mold that they've got for you when you're never going to fit into that mold. You get one life to live. I feel like that was like a soap opera a long time ago. I think my mom watched that. But you get one life to live. And you don't get to do it over. And especially if you've got your own kids that you've either brought into this marriage or relationship, or you and your partner have them together. They're watching. They see it all. Go live your own life. I just want to tell you this. You're not giving up. You're releasing control when you just go live your life and you just be you. Be as bold and as colorful as you want to be. Just be you. You're releasing the control that your stepkids, the ex, your in-laws, whoever it is, has over you. Isn't it funny how so many things that pertain to being a stepmom are actually just life things? So, it's so crazy. You don't need their permission to feel like you belong in your own life. This is your life. You get to be here. You have every right to be here. You don't need to earn your spot in your relationship or your marriage or your home. You chose your partner's choosing you. You don't need to earn that spot. You already believe here. You've already proven you're committed. You've already shown up through chaos, through holidays, through eye rolls, through awkward dinners, through the teen years. If you ever had teen stepkids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you've shown up through all of the things. Their birthdays, when things went bad, when there was alienation, whatever it is. You've gone through all of the things. You've already proven that you're committed. So if they can't see your value, again, it doesn't matter if your stepkids, your in-laws, the ex, whoever it is, but specifically for this, we're talking about your adult stepkids. If they can't see your value, that's on them. That is absolutely on them. You just keep standing tall in your truth. You keep standing tall in your house. Do you need me to help you adjust your crown? I can absolutely do that. You get to keep standing tall in your life because your peace, that's the one thing they don't get to decide. The one thing that is yours that you absolutely get to control. If this episode hit home, and I know that it did, come hang out with us inside the Stepmom Side community. You'll find other women who are walking the same road and who get the heartbreak and the healing. You don't have to navigate this alone, especially with the holidays coming up. Come join us inside the Stepmom Side community. It's aliciacrasco.com/community. And if you're ready for some one-on-one support to get more tailored plans on how to set boundaries, to stop chasing approval. You people pleaser, you, I absolutely see you because I did that too. And if you want to feel more confident in your role, come book coaching with me. Head to aliciacrasco.com/coaching and you'll find all of the things there. I do have 50 and 90-minute sessions, just to give you a couple of options. But go claim your peace or go reclaim your peace. Let's start that. All right, go reclaim your peace. And remember, you're not the problem just because someone refuses to see your worth. You're the one here doing the work. You're not the problem just because someone refuses to see your worth. I will chat with you next week. Thanks for taking time to listen to this week's episode. If anything was helpful or resonated with you, please share it on social media and tag me. I'm just at Alicia Crasco. And if you could leave a 5-star rating and a review while you're at it, that would also be really helpful. And if you find yourself struggling with your stepmom journey and you want a little bit more support without the hefty price tag of coaching, you might want to check out the Stepmom Side community, which is my own private community for stepmoms, where you get to connect with other stepmoms around the world and myself, where I hold weekly office hours and monthly group coaching. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach in your own back pocket. Again, without that hefty price tag. See you next week.